Late at night on an empty winding road, a car shot like a cannonball into a building, debris flying everywhere. The car was crushed into a twisted heap of scrap metal. 2 inside died on the spot. 1 was critically injured. Hey everyone, this is Brian Crime TV. I'm Brian. A sudden car crash shattered the hopes of 3 families. At first, everyone thought it was just a tragic accident. But as the investigation deepened, more chilling details emerged. A seemingly random accident hid a carefully planned murder. The judge even called the culprit a demon on wheels. So, what really happened back then? Let's travel back to 2022 and revisit this bizarre case. Ohio is in the Midwest with a population of nearly 11.8 million. It's the 7th most populous state in the U.S. Buckeye trees grow in abundance here, so it's also called the Buckeye State. The state holds a pivotal role in U.S. politics. 7 U.S. presidents were born here. That's why it has a famous nickname, the Mother of Presidents. Our story today? It takes place here. On July 31, 2022, around 5:30 a.m., in Strongsville, a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio, a loud roar suddenly pierced the night sky. A black Toyota Camry was speeding and crashed straight into the Pride Corporation building. With a loud bang, the car was nearly shattered. About 45 minutes later, a passerby found the wreck and called the police. Police, firefighters, and paramedics rushed to the scene. The scene was a complete mess. The car was torn apart, nearly snapped in 2. Inside, 3 unconscious young people were trapped. The driver was a very pretty girl. Her limbs were injured, her body pinned under the dashboard. In the passenger seat was a young man with a head injury, his face covered in blood. The other young man in the back had severe injuries to his abdomen and thigh. During the rescue, the police looked at the completely destroyed wreckage, their hearts filled with despair. They held little hope that anyone inside could have survived. But surprisingly, when the airbags were removed, they found the girl in the driver's seat was still breathing faintly. So, she was rushed to the hospital. As for the other 2 men, they weren't so lucky. They died on the spot. The 3 were identified as 17-year-old Mackenzie, 20-year-old Russo, and 19-year-old Davion. They weren't just close friends. They were popular figures at school. Mackenzie was born on August 2, 2004, in Strongsville. She was naturally beautiful, cute, and beloved by friends since childhood. In high school, she often received all kinds of confessions. She was a goddess in many boys' eyes. Russo was Mackenzie's boyfriend. He was outgoing, loved basketball, and had a talent for fashion, often designing and making beautiful clothes for his girlfriend. He was planning to start his own clothing brand. The young couple met at school and had been dating for over 4 years. They had been living together since late 2021 at Russo's house. Russo's mother was very pleased with her future daughter-in-law and had even prepared a wedding house for them. Davion was Russo's good buddy, sunny and handsome. He loved volleyball and football and was a star player on the school football team. He was a total hunk with many admirers. He also ran a barber shop and had his own styling team. He was quite accomplished for his age. These 3 young people were all so outstanding and full of life. They should have had bright futures and endless possibilities. Who would have thought that overnight, all that beauty would vanish? After treatment, Mackenzie was out of immediate danger. Later, their mutual friend Paul provided a tip to the police. Around 11 p.m. on July 30, the 3 came to my place for a party. We listened to music, watched TV, ate a big meal, and smoked weed. I got tired and fell asleep. They left around 4 or 5 a.m. I never thought this accident would happen on their way back. In the wreckage of the car, police found 8.1 grams of magic mushrooms and some marijuana. The coroner also found marijuana in Russo and Davion's systems. Magic mushrooms were also found in Mackenzie's shirt pocket. All this indicates that before the crash, they had used illegal substances. The crash site was at the intersection of Progress Drive and Alameda Drive. Progress Drive was built with concrete in the early days. It was old, full of potholes, and had many curves. Even experienced drivers had to be careful. The speed limit on that road was 56 kilometers, but the speed limit sign was a bit out of the way, hard to see. Police tests showed the safest speed here was 87 kilometers. And you still had to hold the wheel tight to avoid losing control. Going any faster risked a rollover. Based on the clues, the initial theory was that it was still dark, and Mackenzie, under the influence, was disoriented. She likely lost control while speeding. In other words, it was an accident. However, when footage from nearby stores and traffic cameras was reviewed, police saw something strange. The footage clearly showed the car wasn't going fast at first and took the curve slowly, but right after the turn, as it neared the building, it suddenly accelerated. That didn't make sense. At the same time, accident reconstruction experts, after checking the car's data recorder, also found some odd details. First, the car kept accelerating before the crash. The gas pedal was floored 4.6 seconds before impact. In just a few seconds, the speed shot up to 156 km. The brake was never touched. Police checked with Toyota about the car's performance. The company said the car was regularly maintained and had no defects. After the crash, they inspected the brakes, accelerator, and pedal systems. Everything was fully functional. There was no unintended acceleration or brake failure. So the question is, why did Mackenzie floor the gas and never hit the brake? Second, in the last second before the crash, the steering wheel first turned slightly left, then suddenly turned 142 degrees to the right. That sharp turn caused the car to lose control completely and hit the building. Finally, in the 4.7 seconds before impact, the gear shift was switched between neutral and drive. These clues made this seemingly ordinary crash highly suspicious. It didn't seem like a simple traffic accident. It looked more like a carefully designed plot. To get to the truth, police went to the hospital to see Mackenzie and ask about the crash, but to everyone's surprise, she said she had no memory of the crash at all. When she learned her two friends had died, she broke down and sobbed loudly. Psychologists said this could be PTSD. After a severe shock, the mind might choose amnesia to protect itself. The only witness had amnesia, leaving the case at a standstill. Just as police were stuck, a casual remark from Russo's friend caught their attention. Mackenzie and Russo had been breaking up a lot lately. They were causing chaos at home. This crash finally separated them for good. Could the crash be related to a couple's dispute? To gather more clues, police visited both families. They got two completely different stories. Mackenzie's mother said, "My daughter and Russo had a great relationship. They were about to get married. She never heard about any breakup." But Russo's mother said their relationship had been terrible for the last 6 months. They fought over everything, sometimes even getting physical. Mackenzie was extremely possessive. If Russo talked to another woman, she'd cause a scene. Especially in July, they had two big fights that made things worse. One time at home, Russo locked Mackenzie out, not letting her in.
What do you mean?
You know exactly what I mean. You don't even know exactly what I mean. You're gonna come open this door right now, or there's gonna be a serious...
You're gonna come open this door right now, or there's gonna be a serious... That fight ended with them parting on bad terms. The other conflict was on July 17. Russo called his mother, saying he and Mackenzie were fighting on Interstate 71. His mother asked a friend, Martin, to help. Martin called Russo on the way to confirm their location and heard Mackenzie screaming in the background, "If you dare break up with me, I'll crash this car right now." When Martin arrived, he saw the two fighting inside the car. Afterward, Russo was very upset and said he couldn't take his girlfriend's controlling behavior anymore and wanted to break up for good. At the time, everyone thought Mackenzie's threat to crash the car was just an angry outburst, but given her behavior in the actual crash, flooring the gas and never braking, those words took on a new, ominous meaning. Russo's brother also said the couple had been on and off. In July, his brother had clearly said he wanted to end the relationship. The medical staff who treated Mackenzie also provided a clue. After she woke up in the hospital, she was very guilty, remorseful, and in pain. She even said, "Killing my boyfriend is my fault." So her amnesia was likely faked. Based on this, the police upgraded the traffic accident to a criminal case. But with limited evidence, the police had to use a simple method, secretly monitoring Mackenzie. On August 6, 2022, Mackenzie texted her boyfriend's brother, "Can you go to Russo's room and get some pictures of me and him from his desk? Put them in his casket so he can be with me forever. I know you probably think this is all my fault. I'm so sad, it's killing me." On August 8, the day of Russo's funeral, Mackenzie posted, "I love you, my baby. I'll miss you forever." On August 24, she posted a photo of them at Universal Studios. Caption, "I miss you. Sometimes I feel like you'll come back any minute. Walk through the door and see me. I miss your smile, your perfect smile." Then she texted her boyfriend's mother, "I only remember everything going black after the turn. I can't remember anything. I'm going crazy. I promise you, if I remember, I'll tell you." Throughout August, she posted many photos with her boyfriend with heartfelt captions. These affectionate words made the police think Mackenzie was just a heartbroken, hopeless girl, and they almost gave up the surveillance. However, not long after, her image did a complete 180-degree turn. After being discharged, Mackenzie quickly got back to normal life. She found a job at a modeling agency in Los Angeles. Then she posted photos on social media celebrating Halloween and attending concerts with a bright, radiant smile. She was a completely different person. This huge emotional shift caught the police off guard and made the surveillance plan, which they had considered dropping, even more intense. After days of secret investigation, police found that Mackenzie was a child who had been spoiled like a princess by her parents. She had to get whatever she wanted. This overindulgent upbringing shaped her relentless, never-give-up personality. When she was 15, because her parents didn't grant a wish, she attempted suicide. The police at the time recommended therapy, but her parents just brushed it off, thinking it was just a childish whim. To this day, Mackenzie's psychological issues remain unresolved and have only worsened over time. Additionally, Mackenzie had long-term exposure to illegal substances. She even publicly stated on social media, "I'm the kind of girl who can take a lot of drugs and be fine." Clearly, she was a troubled girl. After a long period of surveillance and investigation, police finally found a key piece of evidence. Mackenzie's phone GPS data showed that 2 days before the crash, on July 28th, she had been near the crash site. That was very telling. You see, the road was remote and rough, and in disrepair. They never went there. On the day of the crash, it wasn't their usual route home either. So police believe Mackenzie's visit 2 days prior was likely a reconnaissance trip. She had deliberately chosen that remote road. All of this indicated the crash was a carefully planned murder. She wanted to end her relationship in this extreme way. She was truly insane. After learning this, police arrested Mackenzie and charged her with 12 counts, including murder. In court, the prosecutor presented the evidence one by one. There were no direct witnesses, but the surveillance footage, GPS data, the car's accelerator settings before the crash, and witness testimony proving the intense conflict between Mackenzie and Russo formed a complete chain of circumstantial evidence. However, faced with all this evidence, Mackenzie looked indifferent. She'd fix her hair, look at her nails, and even sway back and forth casually, as if it had nothing to do with her. A body language expert said, the hair on her face, her pale skin, make her seem very fragile, but inside she's very strong. She believes she won't be punished. The expert was right. After the incident, Mackenzie had casually said, "The worst that can happen is you suspend my license for 10 years. 2 lives were lost, and she didn't care at all." Facing the charges, Mackenzie's mother tried her best to defend her daughter, claiming she had postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. When it flares up, low blood pressure and rapid heart rate can cause fainting. She said Mackenzie had fainted during the crash, which is why she kept her foot on the gas. However, this claim was quickly dismissed. The prosecution pointed out that when applying for a driver's license, Mackenzie had not reported any health issues. And during the crash, the steering wheel was turned, the gear was shifted, and the car went through violent jolts as it left the road. Yet her foot remained firmly on the accelerator. That's not something an unconscious person could do. The defense argued that you can't convict based solely on surveillance, GPS, and the car's data. Maybe Mackenzie didn't want to live either. After all, she couldn't guarantee her own life in such a crash. The prosecution argued that the footage clearly showed Mackenzie's intent. She scouted the location, deliberately drove at around 5:30 a.m., then entered a remote, rough road where there would be no witnesses and no rescue, the perfect place to carry out her evil plan. Furthermore, not wanting to live is not a valid defense. And one more crucial point, Mackenzie's birthday is August 2, 2004. That means the crash happened just 2 days before she turned 18. Was that just a coincidence? The prosecution argued that the date was carefully chosen.
I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken. I love Dom and Davion. We were all friends and Dom was my soulmate. I wish I could take all your pain away.
Statement at the end. Before the final sentencing, the courtroom atmosphere grew tense. Some hoped the judge would punish Mackenzie severely. Davion's mother said, "We're not seeking revenge. We just want justice for our son. He was just an innocent passenger hitching a ride home." The prosecution also played videos of Mackenzie attending parties and concerts after her discharge, showing she had no remorse. But others hoped for leniency. For example, Russo's father showed great compassion. "Mackenzie is just a kid. She messed up. She did a damn stupid thing. But now her parents are destroyed. Her family is destroyed. I hope she can get some help, some treatment, not spend her whole life in prison." On August 14, 2023, after a 4-day trial, the judge said, when Mackenzie drove onto that road, she went from a responsible driver to a demon on wheels. She had a very clear goal and executed that plan with precision. This was a personal dispute between her and Russo, but innocent Davion was tragically caught up in it. He just wanted a ride. Clearly, another life meant no more to Mackenzie than a suitcase.
In the early morning hours of July 31st, 2022, her purpose was to kill Dominic Russo and Davion Flandin. No reasonable fact finder could view the totality of this evidence in this case and come to any other conclusion. Her actions were
12 counts, sentencing her to life.
Deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. This was not reckless driving. This was murder. The court renders the following verdicts. Count 1. The court, having had count 1 tried to pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Sherilla, guilty of murder, to wit Dominic Russo, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02A, is charged in count 1. Count 2. The court, having had count 2 tried to pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Sherilla, guilty of murder, to wit Davion Flandin, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02A, is charged in count 2 of the indictment.
When the verdict was read, Mackenzie couldn't keep smiling. Her face was full of shock and disbelief. Tears streamed down her cheeks. At this, the body language expert said again, "She's shaking her head because she still doesn't truly realize her mistake. Her tears are more for herself, not out of guilt or remorse."
And justice was served for him today. But honestly, there's no winners here. There's no winners here today.
Crocodile tears are not worthy of sympathy. After the trial, Davion's mother told the media, "We miss our son every moment." Although justice was served today, honestly, there are no winners here. And justice was served for him today. But honestly, there's no winners here. There's no winners here today. Russo's sister posted a heartfelt message on the one-year anniversary of the crash. "How I wish this was just a long nightmare. I love you and miss you so much. You've been gone for a year, and I have to live this long life without you." Although the case is closed, the final verdict for Mackenzie has sparked huge controversy. Some believe the sentence of parole eligibility after 15 years is too lenient, especially when compared to sentences for male offenders. Whether women receive lighter sentences has become a point of debate. One netizen said, "A criminal who took 2 lives should be locked up forever, not be free at 34. I don't support the death penalty, but 2 young, innocent lives were lost. The criminal should face the harshest punishment, at least 30 years without parole." However, some still believe Mackenzie might be innocent, that she truly has no memory of the crash. As an immature child, she should be forgiven, and her life shouldn't be ruined. Some even pointed out, the real culprit is Mackenzie's parents. Their overindulgence created her extreme personality and twisted values. Even after the sentencing, as Mackenzie was led from the courtroom, her parents shouted, "You're innocent." Her mother kept making excuses for her daughter, refusing to let Mackenzie take responsibility. Looking at the whole case, the fate of 3 young people was completely changed by one wrong, impulsive decision. 3 families were destroyed as a result. Mackenzie's true mindset when she floored the gas and crashed into the building may forever remain a mystery, but the final verdict is the best response the law and social justice could give to this tragedy. It is not only a comfort to the deceased, but also a profound warning to society. That's the story from Brian Crime TV. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Your support means the world to me. I'm Brian. See you next time.